6 in the first half.
You need to try something different. It wouldn't work. All right, how is everybody? We're all still working, so that's good. Best news I can give you.
Anybody?
Coach, how do you keep your team focused on what's at hand and not how you are or how you're supposed to be statistically? You know, they have Duke loses, so you guys are supposed to win all that. How do you keep them off of that and focused on it?
I don't ever say anything about it because I don't pay any attention to it myself. I don't know who's supposed to win or lose or whatever. Tell them to try to, as I said the other day, just enjoy what we're doing, enjoy the journey. We're going to practice today, and if they screw it up, I'm going to get mad just like I would the first week of practice. They do it right, I'm going to praise them for it. But I don't really say too much of anything about what other people are saying, other people are doing. We just try to, you know, it's corny as all get out. We just sort of try to get in our own little nest area and stay there and do what we do.
How did Garrison and Kenny come out?
Garrison had the report came out at first that he had lost a tooth, and that's not what happened. He had 2 of them, I guess, removed from the area where they originally were and slid down the street a little bit. But he got those put back on his own property in the proper spots. Now the survey looks better, but I think he'll be fine today at practice. And he really played well when he came back in. I told him, I said, just try to focus. And, you know, if it doesn't feel good, you don't like it, we can go with that, but just try to concentrate. And he really played well in the second half. He was the defensive player of the game again. Got him a nice ride because they put him in an ambulance and the police and the fire, the sirens and everything took him to the location where they did the work. So he had a ride that he hadn't had before, thankfully. Kenny feels a lot better. We're not going to use Kenny today, but I think if we were playing a game today, I think I'd play him. But we're just holding him out just to try to give him a little more time. But they've done some more tests and said it's still just a little bit of a hamstring strain, I guess you'd call it. Maybe it's not the correct terminology, but I think if we were to play a game today, you could play.
Sorry about that.
It's not Lawrence, but it's a home state that you spend a lot of time in. Do you get back to Kansas much, and is it easier to go back to Kansas now than it used to be?
I don't get back there a lot. First 10 or 12 years I went once, and that was to go back and help my daughter, I guess, when she moved back here after the first year. But it wasn't any reason. It's just, you know, I wasn't hiding out or staying away from it. I still have great friends there that we talk a lot. I went back for the Allen Fieldhouse 60th birthday party, and it was sensational. People were fantastic, but you know, being a college basketball coach at this level, it's pretty time consuming doing a lot of different things. But my buddies in Kansas, we meet at least twice a year and play golf and have an outing in the fall, an outing in the spring, and so is it easier to go back? It's well, from both ends. I mean, people here are mad when I go back after I wore the sticker, and I still don't understand that to the day I die. But so, you know, it's a place that I loved for 15 years. Allen Fieldhouse was sensational, and the friends I have are still friends. So somebody said, "Are you glad you're not playing Kansas?" I said, "Really? I mean, you know, you want to play somebody in their backyard. If I was going to Lexington, I'd rather be playing Slippery Rock than I had Kentucky, you know, so that kind of thing. But if they're not playing us, I pull for them and we go from there."
Nasir said the other day that one of the biggest adjustments he's had to deal with was learning how to come off the bench. He'd go through warm-ups in high school and he'd start the game and continue to sweat. Now the sweat dries a little bit. He's got to see the game differently. He said recently when he's entering the game, he feels like he's already been more involved than earlier in the year. Is that what you've seen from him?
Well, I think probably is that he's adapted to that role, and he's also studying the game more instead of just sitting over there waiting to go in. Because he's a very intelligent young man, he really is. And I think he's sitting there watching the game from a little bit different perspective than he was when he first got here. The knowledge that he has and the amount of information he can get from watching the game now, I think he's using that. But again, I thought he was really coming until he got hurt. And I think that set him back, and now I think he's starting to come again. And Columbus, Ohio should be one of his favorite places because he played his tail off up there.
Coach, the matchup with Auburn, how much are the players looking forward to the type of tempo that will provide? It's a strength of this team, the transition game. Is that something they're getting excited as far as looking at the tape and all that?
I have no idea. I haven't seen them since we left on Sunday, really. But I think that they would enjoy playing that tempo as opposed to, guarding people for 25 seconds and shooting 10 for 19 to start the game from the three-point line like I only did. But that would be an assumption. But I agree with you. I think they like playing an up-tempo game more. I don't know if I want to play it the way they play it. I mean, just think about this. Somebody told me this. I haven't checked with Steve. It's the 305 tie our school. 305 threes ties our school record for makes in the season. That's pretty impressive. They've made 421. So it's not 305 is not quite as impressive as it was, but they've probably the hottest team in the country right now, and shooting the ball in the basket, making threes. They guard you too. They turn you over. I mean, the turnovers that they force and steals, they make it pretty impressive. But yeah, I would think it would be an up and down game. And if I'm watching the TV last night or even today, and I see those NCAAM, and they're saying about the matchups and the spread and the over and under, I purposely don't look at that stuff. And so, but I would imagine that our tempo is probably going to be pretty fast during the course of the game too.
Auburn hasn't had a lot of recent success before the work that Bruce Pearl has done in building that program up. What stands out to you about what he's done to get them where they are?
Well, Bruce has done a great job, and I haven't followed Auburn basketball as closely to know what they've done, but I know when we were here in the mid-'80s, they were very good, and Charles and Wesley Person and those guys. But I remember we played them in the regional in Birmingham, Alabama, in probably 83 or 84, something like that. And they were really, really good. But Bruce has done a great job. He's a tremendous amount of energy, very gregarious personality. He just loves basketball, loves to coach, loves to work with the kids. He's 100 miles an hour, 100 minutes a day.
Roy, how does perimeter defense change when it's in transition versus when it's in half-court set?
Well, it's a lot easier in half-court set because you don't have to cover as much ground. If your team's coming at you in transition all the time, you get mixed up on your matchups, and it's harder to find your guy. If they walk the ball down the court, you turn around and wait on them to get down there. Picking them up, because they do, I don't know, I haven't seen the sheet about compares our pace to their pace. I usually get that when I get the scouting report, but they go up and down and they shoot, like I say, 400, I think that's right, yeah, 421. They made 421 threes. And so what you need to do is you've got to decide, and we haven't done that yet. I haven't seen the tape yet. I'm taking one home tonight. It'll be the first time I've studied the tape. Usually in the regular season I do that the night before the game, but not much else to do right now, so I get started a little early. They're really good in transition. They're averaging 79 a game. We're averaging 86. But I think picking up perimeter guys is something that you're going to be mixed up, and you got to know something about the 1-man, 2-man, 3-man. You got to know their the trends, what they like to do, their strengths and their weaknesses. And so in a fast-paced game, you're going to be matched up against somebody other than the one that the coach assigns you quite a bit. And so playing a fast-paced game, I think, can sort of test you a little bit there too.
A few years ago, you had a Final Four team played for the NHL that you felt had been overlooked for a lot of the year, that people weren't giving a ton of credit. Has this team, because Virginia and Duke have both been #1, and because of that, has this team been overlooked a little bit in your mind?
I'm assuming you're talking about 17.
I was talking about 16, I think, was it when we were in Philly, wasn't it? Wasn't that the really good overlooked team?
Yeah, because Bryce and Marcus were so good with that team, and I didn't think that those guys, when we won the regular season, and I'm not agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, excuse me, I don't remember using the word overlooked, but I did have that feeling that nobody's really giving us much credit. This year, for some reason, I've never even had that thought. I really haven't. And somebody asked me at the radio show last night or something, but Zion and what he's done at Duke, I mean, it's been remarkable what he's done. There hadn't been many guys like that to come down the road. And so the attention he's gotten, I think he's deserved. I mean, every time he's played, the other teams aimed their whole defense to try to stop him. And he's been superb in every area. I mean, the guy's 6'7" and 285 and leads our league in steals. I mean, our league's pretty doggone good. He would have been right there in block shots and rebounds, and he was right there in scoring. So I think it's been not your usual Duke or North Carolina, Virginia thing. He's driven a different ship, and I think that's part of it right there. But again, he deserves it because he's played well enough to have all those things being said about him. For us being overlooked, I really haven't had that thought. I think that the thought that I had and wanted to have is I wanted our team to get better and better and better as the season went along. And for the most part, now we had some hiccups, there's no question about that. But for the most part, I think our team really did that, and that's something that I take a great deal of pride in, and I'm very happy that they've done it to say the least.
Well, coming in, what was the biggest thing that he had to do to grow to become what you wanted him to be, and how has he grown from the start of the season?
I don't think there was one thing, because I thought he was great. I mean, I thought he was as good a high school guard as I've seen in a long, long time. And throughout the course of our 4 practices this summer, and then the 2 or 3 before we went to Nassau, I thought he showed that he could do everything there was in the game. So I can't pick one thing, but he's had to improve in every area, and I think he has improved in every area. But he started at a pretty high spot. You know, and I never saw you play, but if you were playing, I would imagine that you'd have started at a much lower level than he did. He was pretty damn high there to start with. And not offending your ability.
I'll admit it, I'll admit it.
Okay. So do I. Intelligent people do. But he was at a really high level in so many ways. And the biggest thing in my mind was that to be the quarterback, to run the show, to be in charge of everyone and not just feeling like, okay, I know I got to get 40 tonight or we're probably not going to win. And I think just changing that, but he wants to do that. He wants to be on a team that wins at the biggest stage.
How has kind of the loss of his dad and other adversity that he's faced in his life kind of shaped him as a person and a player?
Well, he's very much goal-oriented. He's a team player. He wants to win. He's competitive. I think he got all those things from his mom and his dad, his brother and his sister. But there's no question that he knows that his dad is watching, and he's having a lot of pride in his success. But, you know, I don't think every parent should get the credit or the blame when a kid screws it up or when he does it well. The kid's got to get some of that too, and I'm just proud of him, what he's done. But he's got a little extra drive there because of what has happened with his father, there's no question.
Coach, for you guys, if you're expected to go to the Sweet 16, for a guy like Cam Johnson, this is new territory. Have you seen a little bit more of excitement from him and how appreciative he is to reach this point?
We haven't talked about that part of it, but I saw a lot of excitement when he made that first 3 at the start of the second half of the home game. That was the excitement that I wanted to see. But he's really played at a high level for us all year long. And I think he's been in uncharted waters right now, and I think he's really wanting to raise the level of his play too, because he's enjoying what he's doing.
How do you think his transfer has worked out when sometimes they just don't? And I'm not talking about your program, but
Yeah.
just look across the country.
I haven't had very much experience. You know, we had 4 transfers coming in at Kansas in 15 years. 2 of them are great, really good. And I guess Justin Knox and Cam and anybody else, KJ and Ryan, the 2 that come in and play. I guess Cam and Justin have been the only 2 we've had here. So I haven't had very much experience myself, but I thought Justin Knox was great for us, and I think Cam has taken his play to another level. And, you know, the other team's got to be talking about him a lot. And he's still shooting the ball in the hole quite a bit. But I think, again, I'll go back to he just feels better. And I think being able to play without being hurt is huge for him.
Going back to Nasir, Coach, how much of a role have you and your staff played in forcing the issue with him as far as being more aggressive on the offensive end, maybe setting up more plays with him to, you know, boost up whatever confidence that he needs going into this level of play?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys
Well, I think we've pushed him maybe harder than he's ever been pushed, maybe more than he's been comfortable, but we also have probably more plays for him than any guy that I've ever had, you know, because he's got a unique set of talents there. But he's been a pleasure to coach. I mean, it's been hard on him, and you know, he hears what everybody says and reads probably some of the stuff that I don't ever read. But I told him in the locker room, I said, son, I know it hadn't been the smoothest ride, but boy, you were something big today. And to get the ball in the middle against that zone, he was a terror for us.
Coach, I've heard the word philosopher Nas kind of tossed around a little bit. What does that mean specifically? What kind of person is here off the court, and what goes into that nickname?
I've never heard that nickname. I have no freaking idea what you're talking about.
Question for the players.
Yeah, ask them. He's extremely bright. I mean, academically, he's done a great job. He's done as good a job as anybody we've ever had come in on the academic side. But no, I haven't talked to him too much about how Nasir Little and Kierkegaard, what they have in common. I haven't asked him about his favorite philosopher.
Call a play for Plato, we'll know who you're running it for.
That's right.
Anybody else for Coach before we bring in Cam, Kenny, and Luke?
Thank you.
Good answer. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.